How to become a real estate investor with little money. In this episode, I'm going to share with you my real story on how I was able to go from living in my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt with bad credit, to a multi-millionaire investor, all with little money and bad credit. I'm going to share with you all the secrets so that you can do it too. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
In this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 simple things that you can do to become a real estate investor today. You don't have to wait. It is very simple and it won't take you very long. I'm going to share with you the fastest way to go from zero to a $5,000 deal. In some cases, you can do this in less than 30 days. And I'm going to share with you my secret ways on how you can double what most investors make so that you do not fail at this business. So the first thing that you need to know is being a real estate investor opens up so many opportunities. There are so many different things that you can do. You do not have to do just one different thing. I have met so many different types of investors, people with different personalities, people that were introverted, people that were extroverted, people that had college degrees, people that didn't even finish high school. So first you need to know that almost anyone can invest in real estate, and you definitely do not need a lot of money to get started and end up with your first deal. So let me tell you how you're going to get your first deal. So I started investing in real estate with no experience. I had a full-time job and I was in my early 20s and I was living in Atlanta. Well, long story short, when the market crashed in 2007 and 2008, I lost everything. But this was the best thing for me because I ended up being bankrupt, broke with bad credit, and I had to learn real estate investing the correct way. So when I was living in my parents' basement, I started going to different classes, different seminars, different conferences, and I learned something called wholesaling. Wholesaling is when you find someone that is having a property problem. For example, maybe they're behind on their mortgage payment, maybe they're going through a divorce or a bankruptcy. You get that person under contract and then you assign that contract to an investor for a fee. I literally was able to do this from my parents' basement when I was broke, bankrupt with bad credit, and I only spent maybe just $100 finding people, and I ended up with my first deal worth $5,000. So let me break you down how you're going to do that and some other things that you can do to make even more money. So step 1, you are going to start marketing to people with property problems. Literally people that are behind on their mortgage payment. Maybe they're in pre-foreclosure. They haven't gone into foreclosure yet, but they're behind on their mortgage payments. This is what I did when I was in my parents' basement. I started sending out letters to people that had received a notice of default saying that we were investors, we were cash investors, and we were buying homes in their neighborhood and we could save their properties from foreclosure. Literally, I sent out a few of those letters using public records, and I started putting out signs that say, "We buy houses," or "Are you behind on your mortgage payments? ? Call this number." In a few days, I literally had my phone ringing with people calling me, telling me that they were behind on their mortgage payments, and I started having those conversations with them and got them under contract. Then I would flip those contracts to my real estate investor friends, and I actually had a coach that connected me to a network of real estate investors, and I was able to shop those deals, and then those people would buy those contracts for me through something called assigning a contract. Literally, if you want to know this whole process, I have it absolutely all lined out for you. Just go to noelsfreegift.com and it will outline all of the steps for you absolutely free. Again, that's noelsfreegift.com. Go and get this little checklist so that you can start wholesaling properties even with bad credit and little money. Another thing that I started doing is that I started partnering with sellers. In some cases, they did not want to actually put the property under contract, so we would do things like lease options, where we would lease the property from them with the purchase option, meaning we lease it and we would give an option to purchase the property for a set amount. Getting those leases were also very valuable, and I could then assign those leases to other investors as well so that I did not have to keep the properties and I could still make money on them. Another amazing thing that we would also do is we could do seller financing and partnering with the sellers. My coach taught me that in many cases, the property might need some renovations and things like that. I could partner with other investors. They would use their business lines of credit. We could fix up the properties, then we would sell it and we would split the profits with the seller. This would help them get out of their situations, especially if the home needed repairs. We were able to increase the value by doing those renovations and sell it for more money, so we actually had a bigger profit to be able to split. Doing some of these things, I was able to make money, and eventually I was able to get out of my parents' basement and reestablish my life. Becoming a real estate investor is not very difficult, and most of your money will be spent on marketing. Like I said earlier, I started sending out letters. I didn't have to spend very much, and I started putting out what we call bandit signs, and I also would only spend maybe $100 putting out those signs, and I would actually make $5,000, $10,000, even $30,000 per deal. So the return on investment was very big, and I was able to create an entire career doing these things as a real estate investor. So once I was able to start making money through things like wholesaling, lease purchase options, subject to and partnering with sellers, then I was able to get back into fixing and flipping. As I mentioned in the beginning, I started fixing and flipping before I ever started wholesaling, and that is why I ended up losing everything and getting back in my parents' basement. But once I learned to do wholesaling, and once I learned to find people with property problems and get properties at a discount, then I could start fixing and flipping again in a much smarter way. The average profit on a fix and flip is over $65,000. Think about that. How many fix and flips would you need to do per year to replace your income? For me, it didn't take very many, and I was literally able to quit my full-time job and start investing as a real estate investor full-time, which is what I do today. Therefore, you need to understand that you can start with little to no money, reinvest the money that you get, then you can get into more advanced techniques like fixing and flipping, and then even keeping your rental properties and creating a whole portfolio of rental properties. And that is how I became a multimillionaire, by actually buying and holding, having rental properties, and receiving rental income every single month that was able to replace my full-time job. So therefore, we call this deal compounding. This is where you start off wholesaling, then you go to fixing and flipping, and then you go to rental properties. This is what most real estate investors do. You can start at any level, but it is strongly suggested that you start with wholesaling even if you do have money, because you'll learn a lot of great techniques on how to market to people with property problems. And this is where the real money is made in real estate investing. Yes, you can make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 wholesaling, but like I said, with fixing and flipping, you'll make an average of $65,000. And if you have rental properties, you literally can make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year with real estate. I have an entire class that I want to invite you to, and you can come to this class absolutely free. Go to noellerandall.com/masterclass and join my class on how to invest in real estate and quit your job. Literally, I have been teaching hundreds of students how to replace their income using real estate investing, and how to use business credit and business funding so that you don't have to use your own money or your own credit to get started. This class is absolutely free. It is over an hour long, and space is limited, so please go RSVP right now and show up to my next class. Again, that's noellerandall.com/masterclass. Noel is spelled Noelle, Randall, RANDALL.com/masterclass. MASTERCLASS. noellerandall.com/masterclass. Get your spots today. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the knowledge, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.